If you were to find a chemistry on which to base something really complex called life, you would base it on carbon. Carbon is like the fourth most abundant ingredient in the universe. It's not rare. You can make more molecules out of carbon than you can all other kinds of molecules combined. So if we ask ourselves, are we alone in the universe? It would be, in spite of my diatribe about UFOs, I tell you in the same breath that it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we are alone in the cosmos. The chemistry is too rich to declare that. The universe too vast. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand in all the beaches of the world. There are more stars in the universe than all the sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived.
Do you think that it's possible, do you ever entertain the idea that it's possible that we are the only intelligent life in the known universe?
I tend to restrict myself to the galaxy.
Right.
So I do think it's possible that at the moment there's one civilization in the Milky Way.
Wow.
And that's us. And I think that's important, actually. And it goes back to what I was saying at the start about the astronomy and cosmology being part of the framework within which you have to think. If you're looking for meaning, or you're looking for how we should behave even politically, that has a bearing to me. I mean, imagine that we're the only place where there is intelligence in this galaxy. And how should we behave?
Right.
Should we actually, notwithstanding the fact that we're tiny and fragile things and insignificant physically, should we consider ourselves extremely valuable in that respect? Because there's nowhere else where, I would go as far as to say there would be nowhere else where meaning exists in the Milky Way. Because meaning is one of those things that scientists don't talk about very much, although Richard Feynman, one of my great heroes, did talk about it. There's a quote where he says, "What is the meaning of it all?" It's a great essay called The Value of Science. And so what is self-evidently true is that meaning exists here because it means something to us. So that's kind of an obvious statement. Life means something to you and me, and so meaning exists. But I think it is a local and temporary phenomenon. I think it emerges. Meaning emerges from configurations of atoms, which is what we are. We are simply that. We're nothing more than that. We're very, very rare configurations of atoms, I think.
To say we're alone in the universe. No, we haven't found life outside of Earth yet. We're looking, haven't looked very far yet. Galaxies this big, we looked about that far. But we're looking. And how about life on Earth? How is it hard to form? Just because we don't know how to do it in the lab doesn't mean nature had problems. So it may be, given that information, that given the right ingredients, which are everywhere, life may be inevitable, an inevitable consequence of complex chemistry. If that's the case, we look around our own solar system, we look at Mars. All the evidence suggests that Mars was once a wet, fertile place, an oasis. There are dried riverbeds and floodplains and river deltas and meandering rivers. It's all bone dry now. Something bad happened on Mars. Some knobs got turned in its environment that left it the way it is right now. Some bad knobs got turned on Venus, too. Runaway greenhouse effect. You saw the clip on that. 900 degrees Fahrenheit on Venus. Some knobs got turned there, too. People say, why spend money up there when we spend it? Because up there we might learn about down here, okay? I don't want a runaway greenhouse effect here. Venus is the best example in the solar system of a planet gone bad.
I think it's more wonderful and more challenging to us, because we have to take responsibility for it, to say we should operate such that we are it in this galaxy. There's nothing else. I'm sure there are other civilizations out there in the universe, because there are 2 trillion galaxies. I just can't believe this hasn't happened in other places. The question is, how often does it happen, and how widely spaced are the civilizations? And I think they're very widely spaced, and I think there may be 1 or 2 per galaxy on the average. But that as you said, what you said it beautifully. That what else can we think?
Right.
And what else do you want? I mean, I think what it says is you have to take responsibility for all those things, those spiritual things that you think about and the emotional things you think about. You are responsible for that. You are that, right? That whatever that is, it exists in you, and it will only exist for a short amount of time. And so, make the best of it would be my view.
It's so unbelievably compelling, though, to consider the idea that somewhere out there, there's another civilization that may be even more advanced than us, and this thought of it is just so attractive. It's incredible.
There should be, if civilizations are common, or even slightly common, then there should be civilizations ahead of us.
Yes.
Because there's been so much time. It's one of the arguments often used to say there aren't any civilizations out there in the galaxy. It's called the Fermi paradox. Because if you imagine a civilization that's 1 million years ahead of us, they should have written their presence across the sky by now. You should see them. I mean, you'll see us. If we survive 1 million years into the future, actually even a few thousand years into the future, we will be exploring the galaxy. We will have spacecraft that are going to other stars. We will be doing it. So our signature will become visible, I'm sure, if we last.
Or should we, there's a whole...
So what's your best guess?
My best guess is that the universe is teeming with life.
The universe?
Well, and our galaxy in particular. Our galaxy is sort of proxy for other galaxies, is teeming with life, but that complex life might be much rarer.
Why is that?
Well, here's the argument. You have the timeline of the Earth. Earth is born, and this is today. That's 4.5 billion years. Yeah. Now, put this planet out there, and some planets are born yesterday, some were born at the beginning of the universe. You don't know when in the timeline of a planet you're going to land there. So here's Earth. Throw a dart at the timeline. Most of the time the dart hits Earth, there's only single-celled life.
Wow.
And so, if we are randomly coming upon planets, and Earth is any measure of things,
single-cell life is like an amoeba. Is that what?
Yeah. We spent 3.5 billion years as single-cell life on Earth, and then we have something called the Cambrian explosion of life, where the atmosphere changed. There's oxygen. Oxygen is like rocket fuel for complex life, and life now has the carte blanche to become complex because the system can support it. And now you get limbs and detectors like eyes and sensors and it's a stunning development in the fossil record of life on Earth. And so then you'll have complex life. Now so that's a smaller piece of the total timeline. Now you ask, how often when you throw the dart will you find intelligent life? Well, that's this little bit that we define as intelligent. And so if Earth is any measure of anything, throwing darts at planets that we might land on, who is to say that we're going to land right at that moment where what we call intelligence has arisen?